Hello guys, and thank you for joining me. My name is Eugen, and today we will be having a look at the Hongdian 100, a fairly new piston filler fountain pen from, well, Hongdian. The funny thing is that when I reviewed the N7, I said the last piston filler from them, and just as the video for the N7 was being released, the Hongdian decided to release the 100. Obviously, I had to have it. I'm fairly certain I ordered the pen in the same day that the store featured it, and as such, I had the pen for a couple of weeks now, and had more than enough time to study it in detail. Now, when I ordered it, I paid around 53 Canadian dollars from AliExpress. I actually ordered it from, I assume, what is the actual Hongdian AliExpress store. I assume that is the official store. And the price included the shipping and a 4 Canadian dollar discount code. And since it came from their official store, the pen came in its original package, and I thought that maybe for people that ordered just the pen from other sellers, maybe, well, you are curious to see what you're missing. So, the pen does come in a very nice box. It's a cardboard box that can be recycled, which is very nice. And as an oddity, when they sent the package, they also included this gift bag, which I guess it's kind of cool. Not that I have a need for it. It's just funny. And inside the package, if we remove the cap, you will have the pen in basically a wrapper. And then inside the package, there's this kind of a felt with a thing that you can pull on it. And without you asking for it, they're already including the key for the piston and an instruction booklet. I don't know what it says, but if you want to read it and you understand what it says, hit pause. And well, this is it. I guess the cool thing about ordering from the actual official store is that they include everything that needs to be included. I do not know why other sellers are not including the key, since I assume they do receive it with the key, something that you need. Just if you order just the pen, make sure you ask for this. You will need it if you want to clean your pen. And this is the fountain pen. It's quite a good looking fountain pen. Feeling it in hand, it has some weight to it. I don't think it's aluminum. I'm fairly sure this is stainless steel. Unfortunately, however, at least not in English, they do not mention the material that is made of. Now, one thing that got me very curious, and maybe people that understand the language better than I do can help me out. On their site, they're saying something like copper wire drawing craftsmanship. So I wonder if these things that are in relief are actual copper wire that was soldered on top of stainless steel. It's interesting. If that is true, I'm even more impressed about this fountain pen. However, I do not know for sure, and to be honest with you, I don't feel like scratching the pen. I like it too much, and well, it's my pen. I don't want to ruin it. And however, if this thing is actual copper that was soldered on top of stainless steel, I'm really tempted to just, sand this and let that copper shine through. That would be kind of nice. But then again, I don't know. If you do know, please let me know. I'm really curious about that. Again, on their side, we're saying that it's all copper wire drawing. And they were saying it's traditional Chinese. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it's Tang Kao or something like that. TANGCAO. Basically, with that aside, the fountain pen is very similar with all the other Hongdiang piston fillers. The only difference is this one it's fully metal, at least on the outside. The cap again has this nice pattern engraving, and the cool thing about it is that I do not see anywhere a seam. Here it looks like it might be a seam, but it actually seems to be done intentionally because it kind of continues into the design of the pen. Or maybe they use that as a nice scapegoat. However, on the barrel, everything seems to be seamless without any kind of sorry, the light shines. I'm trying to find a good angle. There you go. Without actually any seams, and I'm really impressed by that. Also, the piston knob, it goes nicely a little bit inside the barrel. And the top finial of the cap, it has this red star with some rose gold design around that star, which actually suits it pretty nicely. The only thing is, I wish that on this version they would have included at least one of these two colors throughout the pen. That would have made it look a little bit nicer. I'm happy it's not as strong looking as the actual Chinese version, which from my understanding it's only for sale in China. It is an interesting pen, but maybe too much. I do like the simplicity of this pen a little bit more. However, having a little bit of color throughout the pen maybe would have been nicer. The cap, it's twist action. Comes out very quickly actually, not a lot of issues there, and the threads are very nice and very smooth. And once you remove the cap, you will be greeted by the ink window and a brushed, which again feels like stainless steel section. And the first thing and the only thing that I dislike about this pen, it's the nib. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the nib. It's just like the other N versions. It's just that unfortunately it's very bland. It kind of somehow ruins the aesthetics. I wish there would be a little bit of red or even a dual tone with this rose gold color on it. Would have been nice. Or even just a black nib. As a matter of fact, I might replace this nib with one of the black nibs that I still have. And the other thing that I dislike is that, well, again, you do not get the fancy N6 feed. You just get the generic plastic feed. Nothing wrong with the feed. Works properly as it should work. It's just I much prefer the look of the other feed. And unfortunately, they're still not offering that feed for sale separate. Hopefully in the near future. Things that I have done to this fountain pen, I've already basically increased the ink capacity of the piston filler. If you're curious on how to do it, I will link here to the Hongdiang N7 video. And in there I have a specific section where I show how to increase the ink capacity of this pen. Now my pen, unfortunately when I received it, it had some debris inside the pen, and I was able to see it through the ink window. So I had to take my pen apart. Since I took it apart, I also made sure I lubricated everything and at the same time increased the ink capacity. One thing that I forgot to mention, the clip, it's actually pretty good. It's really stiff though, and you have to fight it a little bit to actually put it in your shirt. You might have to actually lift it. If you just force it, there's a chance you might ruin your pocket shirt. It holds on pretty tight, and it doesn't snag, but it's maybe a little bit too tight. What I would have liked to see is that if they would have moved this bar a little bit lower, So basically you can actually use it and press at the end of it in order to open the clip, like you have on the S2000 for example. I think that would have made this clip much more usable and much more efficient. The pen unposted is balanced, it's actually pretty much in the middle, and it does pose quite well and quite secure and deep. And the back, the weight will be a little bit heavy at the top. The balance is actually on the cap, not just before the cap. However, in hand, at least in the position that I'm holding it, is not that bad actually. I like it. And here you might fight a little bit with the pen to lift it, but I don't think it's that heavy. However, if you think it's too heavy, lengthwise it's perfect, at least for my hand, without it being posted. This thing is really gorgeous. This is the font pen. I do like it. I think just a few things would have made it even better. However, not much to complain about it. I really like the fountain pen. For today, I will be using the Monteverde Midnight Black ink. First time using it, piston down, put it in the ink, go about halfway, go all the way back down, and then fill it all the way. The ink doesn't stay in the section much. It actually glides off the section very well. It does have a groove here at the end of the section, and it does collect a little bit of ink. However, using a napkin or a paper towel, just holding against that edge cleans it quite nicely without much of an issue. And for a quick writing example, just to see how the pen performs with the default nib before I change it. So this is the nib is very smooth. I didn't do any work on it. Reverse, it's not really usable. Anyway, so the nib that comes with it's actually really nice. The copy that I got, it's very smooth. I see no snags at any angle. And this is an extra fine. However, it's a pretty nice wet extra fine. For today's drawing, since I pretty much have a theme that I've been doing with all the Hondian font pens that I've been looking at, today we will be doing another birdie. And this is pretty much like a bird eye view of the top of a bird. I don't know how they took this picture. Again, I found this picture on Google searches, and what I liked about it is the transparency that the feathers had. I'm not sure how well I'm gonna capture that in the drawing, but hopefully it will turn out okay. The drawing is not very complicated, it's fairly simple. It's just a lot of lines to draw, so it's probably gonna take me a while. Anyway, with that said, I guess I will be changing the nib off screen, and you'll see it in action as I draw it. Anyway, with that said, I'll get straight to it, and I will be sharing my opinions on the pen as I do the drawing. Enjoy! I'm starting the time-lapse side of the video by showing off that black nib on the pen. I think it looks quite nice and somehow completes it a little bit better and lets the rest of the pen stands out more. I'll probably stick with it for now. I might do a titanium nib upgrade sometime in the future and bring some maybe rose gold or some reddish pinkish color. I don't know, I'll see. If I ever do this, I'll make sure to do an update on it at that time. Regarding the drawing, Was actually a very relaxing drawing. I enjoyed the process and I learned a few things on the wing structure of a bird. I think in the future, where I will be drawing another bird, I will go for the same idea with an image where the bird is backlit and you can see through its feathers. I like the effect it gives. One thing that unfortunately I was not able to include because my camera kind of gave up on me on that portion, I did use a little bit of alcohol markers just on the wings and on the bird just to give it a little bit more color. Probably this type of drawing would be more beneficial doing it in watercolor, especially for the nice translucent or transparent feeling that the wings, the feathers had. But I think ink did a pretty good job as well. I do kind of like the wire effect mesh that it gives to the feathers. Now, going back to the fountain pen, honestly, not much to say. I like it. It's as simple as that. I think this is the fountain pen that finally dethroned the Honda N1S version of this piston filler, knocking it in the second place. Things that I like about the fountain pen: it's solid, it's stainless steel with a good weight to it, great detail work on the body and cap, a very good looking pen in my opinion. The only thing that would have made this pen even more over the top, I guess, it's to have a sterling silver body and a 14K nib, but I guess it wouldn't sell at the price that is being sold. It will be a couple of $100 extra, and I don't think it would have sold that well. Another thing that I do like is how quickly the cap is removed, and speaking of the cap, the threads on it and the piston are very pleasant and smooth. Things that I dislike about the pen? Nothing, to be honest. If I have to be critical, I guess on my copy, I would complain about the dirt that was inside the piston. It looked like rubber shavings. No idea how it got in there, but since I was planning to do a complete breakdown and clean anyway, to me it was not really an issue. However, I do recognize that not everyone will be comfortable with taking the pen apart or might have the tools to take the pen apart. So this might be an issue if it happens for others. Things that could have been better. Well, first of all, off the bat, the clip. That could have been done better, as is a little bit stiff, but it is functional though, so can't complain about that. And another thing, kind of a nitpicking, maybe add more color. Like I said, it looks very bland, and that plain nib feels like it takes away from the pen without bringing much to it. Even a black nib would have been better. I'm actually glad I replaced the nib on this pen. Good thing I had that broken N6 as the pen that keeps on giving. Oh, and no ebonite feed again. Hongdian, you obviously have it. Why tease us with it on the N6 and never use it on the other pens that you released after the N6? Come on, at least make it available for buying separately. Speaking of, I'll probably rub that ebonite feed that I put on the N7, that I rubbed it from that broken N6, and add it on this 100. I think it deserves it. I do admit that I want that feed only for the looks of it. The plastic default feed works great. No real complaints on that regard. And yes, I do believe and know from experience that a well-designed plastic feed works just as good as ebonite. Unpopular opinion maybe, but I think a well-designed feed made out of plastics, it's actually better. But I'll keep that discussion for another day maybe. And that's about it. Not much else to say about this pen. Overall, I love it, and it's my top favorite piston filler from Hongdian. Well done, well, at least for now. If you have any other questions that I might have not answered, please leave them in the comment section below and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. And with that said, I will stop talking, let you enjoy the rest of the drawing, whatever is left out of the time lapse, and I wish you a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. All the best, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.